Walk with me, won't you? Because I want to do our weekly walk. I like that we've kind of fallen into somewhat of a tradition. I take a minute to go to lunch, and I invite you along with me to share thoughts and all that good stuff. Now, if you know anything about Brookhaven, you'll notice as I walk past the Mississippi School of the Arts that I'm not walking toward downtown, which is where I normally go grab lunch. In fact, I'm walking, toward I-55, at least in that direction, because I'm going to Gagliano's, New Orleans style po' boys, muffalettas, things like that. Because honestly, I never thought I would find my favorite po' boy place outside of New Orleans here in Brookhaven. I figured it would be maybe in Jackson or some other place in Louisiana, especially on the Gulf Coast. I used to live down there. I figured that would be like the holy grail of po' boys outside of New Orleans. Well, turns out it's Gagliano's right here in Brookhaven. I've been craving their sandwiches for a couple of days, so today it's happening. Well, everybody, that's Gagliano's. I forgot, they're closed on Monday. In fact, a lot of restaurants are closed on Monday here, and I should remember that in the future. Well, what to do? I guess I'm just gonna have to keep walking down the street and find a new place to eat. Someplace I've never been before, someplace that's new to me, someplace that will be an adventure because, well, I'm already walking, might as well keep going. But I'm glad I have this extra opportunity because it gives me the time and space to make a very special announcement. The other day I mentioned in our worship service that I would be announcing our return to public worship very soon. And now that I've been able to square away some final details just to make sure that things didn't get launched prematurely, here we go. We are going to resume public worship at Redeemer on September 13th. That's Sunday, September 13th. That's the Sunday after Labor Day. When we return, we're going to have a slightly different but maintained schedule that will provide a lot of stability and flexibility moving forward. We're going to have two services, one at 9 a.m. and one at 11 a.m. And that 10 o'clock hour will be reserved for Christian education, fellowship, things like that. The one major difference, though, is that we're not going to have two public services. The 9 a.m. service will be an online-only option and will be a dedicated services for those who feel comfortable doing worship online. The 11 o'clock service will be an only in-person service and will not be broadcast online. So, 9 a.m. online only, 11 a.m. in-person only. Now, that in-person service at 11 will, of course, obey all of the current restrictions regarding people in public. So, as of recording, that's a 10-person limit inside or a 20-person limit outside. And as those restrictions flex and shift, our worship experience at 11 o'clock will flex accordingly. That 10 o'clock hour will be our Sunday school hour. How we're going to roll those out will be announced fully, but we have our teachers lined up, we have our curriculums figured out, and descriptions on those things will follow. And what I like about this schedule is that moving forward, if our population ever grows to the point where we really needed a second service, since we used to do a 10 o'clock service, that really didn't put a place in the morning for a second service except for really early in the morning or late Sunday afternoon, like around 5 or 6. And that just didn't seem feasible. So moving to a 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock service time just seems like the right choice. Do we have the population right now that really necessitates 2 standalone services? Well, no, our ASA doesn't really need 2 standalone services. However, this pandemic has caused us to become an online congregation and an in-person congregation. And there's a way that both groups can be filled and sustained and spiritually nourished by offering worship as this current setup will do. Now, like I said, we're going to get started on all this September 13th. That's the weekend following Labor Day. Once we go from there, that structure will maintain. So I walked further. I thought about, my first thought was going to get some sushi at the grocery store, just because, kind of craving that. And also I hear the sushi at the grocery store is actually really, really good, from people who I, trust to tell me those things. But, the grocery store is a pretty far walk from what I'm really wanting to do. And then I figured, I'll go to the actual sushi restaurant, which is open again. But I thought ahead and called. They are not answering the phone, so I'm imagining they're probably closed today. And also, I think they're just doing curbside pickup anyway, so I don't really want to curbside pick up on foot. That just feels weird. So anyway, I looked into some Mexican restaurants. And they're just further away than I would want to do, because I also happen to know that I'm only 0.3 miles away from Magnolia Blues Barbecue. And God bless Magnolia Blues. I could eat there every day. So I'm going to go to Magnolia Blues and get some lunch. Well, I was too hungry for my own good, and I forgot to actually check the times. It's Monday, as I already know, and Magnolia Blues is closed, as I actually already knew, but I forgot to think about that. So, love you guys, but I'll have to see you on Tuesday. Save me a pile of fries. God, those things are good. All right, off to lunch, part 3. Now, so I'm going to go eat at one of the places that I'm in danger of eating at too often, which is not a bad thing. I just don't want to get burned out on this staple of Brookhaven kind of culture, and that is Janie's Pastry Shop. So I'm going to go into Janie's. I'm probably going to get one of either the 2 things that I always get. And, yep, here we go. Oh, but then afterwards, treating myself to ice cream.